What's going on, everybody? This be your boy DJ Anonymous with Sports Biz Music, the podcast, episode 104. And I got my dog on the show today. I got the homie Jay Arre. How you
Jay Arre! What up, though?
How you doing, dog?
I'm good, bro. What's happening?
How you love Florida so far?
Honestly, that shit super chill. Daniel Beach chill as fuck. Like, Miami, like 15, 20 minutes. For a lot of them, 15, 20 minutes. Like, shit cool. It's relative. But if you want to chill, like, this shit is my vibe. Like, this shit chilling.
Coming from Dade County, like from Miami, I always prefer like Hollywood Beach over South Beach because it's more vibe. It's laid back. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But before we get into the questions and stuff like that, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, shit, man, I'm Jay Arre, straight out of Kernersville, North Carolina, to be specific. Making a name. That's it. That's what's going on right now in my life. Yeah. Shit, God is good. Hard grinding to thrive. Working hard, you know what I'm saying? Sticking to the script, staying diligent. That's it. Hip hop artist, songwriter, fucking vehicular detailer. Man of many trades, really.
That's what's up, man. So tell us about the beginnings, like what made you want to, get into music in general?
It really was nothing that was like made me want to. I think we were just talking earlier. So I think I actually just started trying to put this record label together from my area. Right. Like a triad, Greensboro, Winston, Kernersville, High Point. Because we don't have any record labels around there. We got recording studios, but no record labels that are actually like able to offer opportunities for like networking, management, artist development, consultations, none of that shit. So trying to start that up, but for distressed youth and for people who needed an outlet. I was one of those kids, you know what I mean? So it's like I had a bad anger problem. Just used to snap for nothing, like 11 and younger. Right. So then it was like, I was in church first, started singing. I had a voice. Found out that was leading children's church, children's choir, praise team, that type of thing. And then it went to the pen. Right. So like, not the pen, but the ink pen. The ink pen, so then went to the pen to express like how I might be feeling on anything, like mad, sad, like overly joyed, like whatever it was. Just really kind of finding my outlet, and it was through writing. So just putting them together, man. Since I was like 6 years old, really, it was never really nothing that made me. It's just how shit came. It was in me, not on me.
That's what's up. So like, who inspires you, like?
Coming up, I can tell you one distinct. So my family, like, we're from Atlanta. Yeah. Living in the Carolinas, was raised in the Carolinas.
So you're originally from the
Yeah. Well, I was born in Germany, actually.
Okay.
Pops in the service, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But went to Georgia first, Savannah. That's where my family at. Like I said, so we moved from Germany to there, and then from Georgia to North Carolina. Okay. And I was raised in North Carolina. So kindergarten on, I've been in Carolinas, but obviously every holiday, every whatever, I'm back and forth to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like on whatever. That's what my folks at. So I'm just a Southern. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. All over. So So end of the day, I don't know. Just now going to Carolina. What you just asked me for?
Who inspired you? Like?
So that came from when I was in Atlanta. That's why I was talking about Georgia shit. So I was riding down the street with my cousins, stupid young, maybe like 14. Yeah. And at this time, Outkast was coming out.
Oh yeah.
And when I first heard Outkast, it was like it was revolutionary to me. Because before them, obviously you got Pop, you got Big, you got Nas, you got like motherfuckers who are pioneers in this industry. But it was like that was the first time I heard a sound that was like so creative and so innovative and so authentic to who they were. It was just different. Right. You know what I'm saying? The instrumentation to the lyrics, like everything was different. So from that, it just kind of opened my ears on who I would listen to. After them, I started listening to like Nirvana and fucking, you know what I'm saying? And then where I'm from, it's kind of like I don't know how you would say, it's not very predominantly urban. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like I was on country, I was on rock, I was on pop, like I was on a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying, just coming up. So it was everything from, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, no cap. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, them niggas had voices, you hear me?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we was on them back then. We was on them, obviously, Yo Gotti when he first came out. Yeah. Who else, man? Raekwon.
Yeah.
I was on Cormega, Prodigy, Mobb Deep, them. 50 had just came out. Fucking, like, that whole era, man. Nas, Jay-Z, that beef. Like, all that up in there. I was with all of that. And honestly, like I said, at that time, I was singing. So, it was like Cisco.
Yo,
then 112.
That's when R&B was like R&B
heavy.
Back in the day.
Avant, you know what
pop
I'm saying?
Was pop,
yeah, everything was distinguishable. So it was a little bit of everything, man, from Jump Street.
That's what's up. So Carolinas at that time wasn't really big in hip hop like how it is now.
Nah, Petey Pablo ain't even came out yet.
Yeah, Petey Pablo wasn't out yet. So like, from your perspective, like, what you think about from then to now, like, as far as like North Carolina, like, music in general? Because the one thing I love about being from the South is that each state got its own flavor, you feel me?
1,000.
So now that you see North Carolina and South Carolina, they starting to buzz, like, how do you feel about that?
I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud. I'm proud that Carolinas is buzzing how they are. Mm-hmm. It's about time, honestly. Like, it's been a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of talent in the Carolinas before the Baby, before J. Cole, before Pablo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's just it's timing. It's timing for everything. Yeah. And right now it's Carolina's time, and I'm extremely proud. I'm satisfied that, not even satisfied, but I'm elated.
Okay.
Happy, jolly as fuck that it's now. And honestly, that's why in the EP I just dropped, I Got Next.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I made that record. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly how I feel. Yeah. And now with eyes coming here like that, it's like, okay, boom. Now it's time for people to be heard. Now it's time for talent to be shown. It's time for energy to be drawn this way. Right. So I'm excited about it, man.
So as far as like Carolina, every state got its own sound. Like down here, got the Miami bass. Right. Texas got Student Child. Right. Atlanta got the crunk and all that. I know in the DMV area they got that go-go music.
Miami got that shit too, though.
Yeah. Because it's all like, one thing I say, like, Miami, Baltimore, Memphis, New Orleans. I heard about Boston too. Like, it's that same. We got that same bounce. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bounce is like, it's different, but at the same time, it comes from the same place. You feel me?
1,000.
So like, for the Carolina, I feel like, y'all, especially hearing your music, like, you mix with a lot of different type of sounds.
For sure. I appreciate that feedback, for sure.
On one song, I forgot the name of the dude, but he's from the West Coast. I think it's MC Light, I think, or...
OG.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
OG.
You remind me of him, like the flow.
That's a bit.
Like, was you like, I guess, more exposed to West Coast music growing up, or it was
It's funny you say that, because, like, you're not the first person to tell me, like, I got a West Coast, like, sound or vibe, like, or some things can give people that vibe, you know what I'm saying? I embrace it. I take it as a compliment, because I did also, that was a part of that sound, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was influenced by that. I was influenced by, remember when Mac 10 and Ice Cube and
came out,
West Side Connect was still, like, that was the group. Like, so back then I was like in tune with that too. So for me, when I make music now, I don't think about influences, you know what I'm saying? Like, at all. I think about experiences and what I'm talking about in my life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for that, it's like, I was influenced by that. Right. But I feel like every artist is influenced by some predecessor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because, like,
you gotta be. Like, if you heard music ever, you was influenced by it.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, like, I love Miami. Like, I always listen to Miami music, but people could tell, like, I was very influenced by, like, Houston music. Okay. Because growing up, I was just amazed about the chop and screw. And, like, because down here, we like to play our music fast. Right. But then when I heard Houston music, I'm like, damn, like,
it don't gotta be that way.
Yeah,
it opens your mind.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And people tend to forget, like, all of us in our generation. Like, I'm glad you said that earlier. With, like, I should listen to the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Limp Bizkit and all that. All that. That's when music.
Blink 182.
Yeah, you know Blink 182.
They was popping.
Yeah, that's when music in general, like it wasn't like, oh, hip hop is this or pop is this,
right?
R&B is this. Like it wasn't really I guess like a tug and war. It was just like music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It was about the betterment of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people had a lot of good music. Like right now, it's a lot of female artists. I'm actually glad female artists are getting they shine like they are right now too. Yeah. From like Alina Baraz, you know what I'm saying, to like SZA and fucking now even Megan Thee Stallion, like that type of thing. Her, Cardi B, like everybody that's going on right now. I like where music is going in that sense, but I don't like where it's going in the. And see, I don't want to take away from what Florida has to offer because they got a lot to offer. Yeah. But when it comes to like the overall like premise of music and what the hip hop culture was based off of, when you listen to Nas and you listen to like EPMD, and you listen to like Cormega, and you listen to shit. Even go back to fucking Africa Mabata. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You listen to these people, you're getting the culture and their surrounding and like what's going on. You do get that on this scale also, but I feel like it's more of an agenda to be a detriment to our culture now. Yeah. And then it was like just letting you know what's going on in our culture. Yeah, like, and how to come up out of that. You know what I'm saying? I
feel the same way because,
and that's where my shit comes from what it was based off of. That's what I'm inspired by most. It's like what hip hop was to me and what it did for me.
Yeah, like I'm the type of person I like to go back. Like, you know, being from here, you know, listening to the Trick Daddy and JT Money, like they were the first artists to be conscious from down here.
Right.
People think it was booty music and stuff.
Because that's what they heard on the mainstream.
Yeah.
But if you got to listen to their catalog.
Yeah, and even them, they was influenced by like Big Daddy Kane and all of them.
For sure. For sure.
So it's like, and Andre 3000 and all of them. Like you could always go back. Like,
that way.
It was lyrical. Now it's like you had some lyricism, but they hitting. You know, it took Rhapsody a long time.
Oh man, I can't even believe in the women. I didn't even just say her name.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? for real. But she's like, I say, definitely top 5.
Yeah,
on
right
MCs.
Now.
Period.
Right now, yeah.
Like guy or girl. You know what I'm saying? Like period. She fire.
Yeah,
like fire. Fire. Eve is a phenomenal album.
Yeah,
like she just dropped.
Yeah, I ain't really get the chance to listen to it. But I heard projects before.
Everything leading up to them.
Certain people I have to like wait. I can't like listen to it the first
real.
day.
That's very real.
I gotta like wait a few weeks or a few months to even like touch the album. Because I already know it's good.
I get it. I'm the same way. And it ain't gonna change. It's timeless music.
Yeah. So
like when I hear it, it'll be the same as if I heard it when you dropped it that day.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's amazing, man. So let's talk about
that's the music I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm on that page.
So yeah, so talking about your music, let's talk about your EP, Making a Name. Like, what was the whole ambition behind even that title of the EP?
So, I had 4 mixtapes out. I had to retract 2 because it wasn't a proper representation of who I am, what I stand for, or where I come from.
Right.
So I had to take 2 off and just revamp the image, revamp the ideology, revamp the approach, everything, the brand, all of it. So Making a Name is, after taking like 3 years off, is exactly that. Like with this project, that's part of the reason I made it 7 songs. 7 is, you know, it's a lucky number on mine. I don't even want to say lucky number. Like, it's my favorite number. Too, I feel like on a spiritual level, it's also a holy number. You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, 7 is enough. And on just a secular level of like understanding music and people's attention spans, it's short enough and long enough for you not to get tired of it. Right. You feel me? So like, and if you want to run it back, you can. I'd rather you do that than take it out early. Yeah. You feel me? So I feel like 7 is good, and each I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 3 deep that I'm already ready for. 4 I have concepts for, but 3 deep I'm already ready for. So the next one coming soon. It's next year. Okay. But and I'm already like we was actually listening to that shit on the way here. Yeah. The next one. But that's 7 too. And the next one will be 7. Okay. And the next one will be 7. And then after that, I dropped the album.
So even with the album, you still gonna have 7 tracks, or you gonna?
Nah, the album is gonna be probably like 12 to 15. Okay. with a couple skits. Like I feel like we're missing that. You know what I'm saying?